That's an RH-53 is a little bit different. And the reason we had RH-53Ds is because they could carry the amount of people that we wanted to bring in, to take in the rescue force and the hostages to get out. But they could fold up and be stored in a hangar deck of an aircraft carrier.
Okay.
So that was the key selling point for the RH-53D models that we had.
Because you wanted to take a ship a little bit closer over there, and then you could take off from the ship.
We didn't want all these gray, brown painted, desert painted helicopters on flight decks of an aircraft carrier to be seen by the Soviets or anybody. That, you know, like, what are they doing with all? Here we are off the coast of Iran, and here we got all these desert colored 53s painted on the flight deck. They could put two and two together and figure out what we were planning on doing. So
this was Operation Eagle Claw,
right?
Yeah, that, just for context, just so that people know, Operation Eagle Claw, when you were trying to get the Iranian hostages.
Yeah. Well, the American hostages.
The American hostages.
Yeah. Initially, there were 66 American hostages taken,
including the embassy, like MSG Marines.
Right. Yes, all the guards. One of the guards I just met a few days ago, Billy Gallegos in Colorado Springs.
They were trying to figure out like who was going to pilot these 53s,
right?
But they're not CH-53s.
They're RH-53.
RH-53s,
right?
Was it because they had the heavy lift capacity where they could fit enough people inside, be able to pick everybody up and leave?
Right. So, and so anyway, we had 8 helicopters. We needed 6 to do the mission. So we had 2 more helicopters than we needed to do the mission.
Okay.
So we trained in Yuma, and then we were allowed to go home for Christmas. They let us go back. So we went back to the farm. They let us go home for Christmas.
Wow.
My wife and my 2 daughters had already traveled to Michigan to be with her family in Michigan. Oh. So, but they called my wife up and told her that we would be allowed to be back for Christmas. But they weren't not going to let anybody go back if no family was there. So my wife then had to drive from Michigan back down to North Carolina. I was kind of mad about that. I wanted her to stay in Michigan. I would have been fine. Yeah, you know, she was up in Michigan, so she had to drive back. That wasn't a true thing.